My name is Jade Branner, and I'm here to tell you about my Europe journey. September 3rd, 2013, I woke up energized. All I kept thinking was, don't be late, Jade, especially on the first day. Sure enough, I walked into our very first Monday morning kickoff 11 minutes late. I figured since it was our first day, Mike, my site leader, would cut me some slack. I quickly learned that there was no slacking allowed at Europe. I first heard about Europe from my cousin, Kimberly Guthrie, who had just started her internship. She spoke highly of Europe and elaborated on how much more motivated she had become to better herself. Of course, being stubborn, I let it go in one ear and out the other. It sounded too good to be true, and I was at a point in my life where I was confused and lost. I had just graduated high school, and my life was going nowhere. I was unsatisfied working dead-end jobs for minimum wage. My parents had also just divorced. With my dad out of the house, I felt empty. I live in a neighborhood where poverty is at an all-time high. Gun violence is prevalent, and no one is expected to make it out successfully. The wailing sirens, robberies, and the phone calls you get about friends getting shot are some things you get used to until it hits home. In December 2010, I was at a family gathering when I was shot in the chest. My body went numb, but I could sense my mother holding me. I looked to the right, and there was a young man with blood covering his face. I heard screams and more gunshots. I was rushed to the hospital where I learned the bullet came within inches from puncturing my lung. I was lucky to still be alive. I wasn't lucky, I was blessed. I recovered quickly, but fell behind in school. I struggled to keep up, but refused to allow this to hold me back. I stayed late to complete assignments whenever needed. To make matters worse, I lost my brother Elijah to gun violence. Excuse me. We had just gone to prom together. I was getting ready to graduate. And within the blink of an eye, his life was taken. Emotionally, I was drained. I needed an outlet. I was surrounded by so much negativity. I knew there had to be more to life than Bayview Hunters Point. I realized that the negative atmosphere that I lived in was getting the best of me. I had to make a change. I knew I could do better. I just needed the motivation. That's when I remembered Europe. Europe couldn't have accepted me at a better time. The interview process was rigorous, which I later found to be a test of my commitment and how much I wanted to be a part of the Europe community. I quickly adapted to Europe's strict professional culture. Orientation week was most memorable, and we all shared our stories. Angelique shared the struggles with her mother and how she needed this opportunity to better herself so she could be the best role model for her younger sister. Some spoke of losing their mothers, being homeless, stereotyped, and other obstacles they confronted. We all came from different walks of life, but we united for the same purpose, to change our lives. As time passed, I noticed changes within myself as well as my colleagues. We worked to maintain positive attitudes and develop a strong work ethic. I gave Matthew a call every morning at 6 a.m., texted Shamari to make sure he remembered to check his email daily, and reminded Mohammed to keep an open face. It was all about support. As a community, we made sure we put our best foot forward. We took advantage of any extra learning experiences we could. One Friday, Allie, my business communications instructor, delivered the exciting news that I was chosen to introduce our guest speaker, Christy Wilson, who works at Splunk. She told me a funny story about how the last student was nervous to introduce her and replaced her last name with her company's name. I laughed because the names sounded nothing alike. When it was time for me to introduce Christy, I proudly announced, "Let's stand and welcome Christy Splunk." My eyes widened as I realized I had just done the exact same thing as that last student. There were other influential guest speakers like Keith White from Gap Inc. He encouraged us to never let anyone define our potential because we are our own star players. He told us to stay poor, hungry, and determined. Keith called it a PhD. My PhD has now given me the technical skills that I thought would be impossible to learn. I am a young professional ready to enter the workforce. I would like to thank the Taproot Foundation for such a great internship experience. My manager, Meg Van Wagner, always made sure she was available if I needed help or if I just wanted to laugh. She encouraged me to step outside of my comfort zone. Thank you to Chris Carmichael for always being so supportive and never judging me. You are one of the reasons I didn't give up and worked harder to keep my spot at Europe. To my parents, if it weren't for you today, I wouldn't be here. Thank you for always loving me and giving me the strength to keep going. It is because of you that I am so determined to succeed. It is because of you that I've weathered so many storms. Today, I don't mind sharing my story because I'm not ashamed of what I've been through. If my life and my story can impact one person, then I've done my job. My future is headed in the right direction. Mistakes are inevitable. It's not how hard you fall, but it's the recovery and how you get back up that determines your character. Class 11, this is only the beginning. Stay motivated and always remember to work hard and have fun. Never give up on yourself and appreciate life and all that comes with it, the good and the bad. Remember the connections we've built. I want to thank everyone for giving me this opportunity. Class 11, keep your PhD. Stay poor, hungry, and determined. Congratulations, we made it.